Good morning, everyone. We're continuing here in the words of the PELE YOETZ, and we're speaking about the idea of how much a person has to shape their mind and their thoughts to believe the way that the Torah and Chazal believes, because we are the ones who are warped and backwards in our thinking. The Torah and Chazal is not backwards in its thinking. It's actually thinking straight and pure and proper. We just have to work in order to be able to understand that for ourselves. And he writes, "Boi urei, come and take a look. Kama gedolim divrei chachamim, how great are the words of our sages. Sha'amru, they have stated, shekol ha'torah kula kalula usvunu v'midas ha'emunah. They informed us that all of the Torah is included and inclusive of the midas ha'emunah, of the midah, the trait of emunah, which means the entirety of the Torah is all about emunah. And you'll keep the Torah if you have emunah. And if you learn the Torah, you will come to levels of emunah. That means kol ha'torah kula, all that is written inside the Torah is here to teach us about being a maimin, about believing in the Rabbi Shalom. There's a very famous story with Rav Horowitz, who ended up becoming one of the greatest disseminators of Torah wisdom in his generation in the 1900s through the 1930s, maybe even started in the 1800s. He was known as the mashgiach of Radin, the mashgiach of Mir, and his drushes, his teachings were world famous. And he transformed the lives of perhaps thousands of young men over the years to show them the light of Torah and the light of Emunah and the light of Avodas Hashem. And when he was a young boy, he was apparently a very philosophical young man. And his philosophical queries were beginning to cause him problems in his Emunah. Because when a person is too philosophical, they start asking many questions. And as we know, as part of Yiddishkeit, you can't find an answer to every question. And that's also okay. That's one of the reasons the night of the Seder, we ask so many questions. Why this? Why that? Children are supposed to ask. And you know what? At the end of the day, there is not an answer to every single question. And the reason is because it's okay for a Yid, for a Jew to have questions. Because we have to realize, humble ourselves, that we can't answer everything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is the one that is running the world. The Eibishter is in charge of everyone and everything. We will never fathom the true wisdom and the godly omniscience of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and therefore we can't understand every single detail of every question that we have in this world. But Rabbi Yerucham was a young boy and he had questions, and it was beginning to affect his Avodas Hashem. So his father took him to go get his mind cleared up. And where did he take him? He took him to the Chofetz Chaim. And the Chofetz Chaim looked at the young man and he saw the great potential that was shining forth inside of him. And he asked him, do you learn Chumash with Rashi on a daily, weekly basis? And the young boy said, no, not yet. And he told him, go and learn Chumash with Rashi. The Rashi is what's called Emunah Pshuta, simple faith, unadulterated, clear faith. Learn Chumash with Rashi. He'll clarify why things happen the way they do, and you then will not have any questions on HaKadosh Baruch anymore. And his father left the house of the Chofetz Chaim, and they went to buy Svarim, and they bought a set of Chumash with Rashi. And for the rest of his life, Rabbi Yerucham would learn out of that Chumash with Rashi, and the story is told that when he would get up to give a drasha, many years later in front of his students, sometimes hundreds of people would come to hear him speak. The Chumash and the Rashi that he used was the one that he bought that day that the Chofetz Chaim told him. The Chofetz Chaim said, what's the ikar, what's the important thing? Emunah Pshuta, simple faith. Not convoluted, it doesn't have to be complicated, it's simple. And if a person drives for that goal, which is to have Emunah Pshuta, simple faith in their life, they will be zeicha, they will be able to see HaKadosh Baruch Hu and understand Him to the best of our abilities, and things that happen won't rattle our Emunah. On the other hand, it will strengthen our Emunah because we are seeing things clearly, we're seeing the emes, the truth. Therefore, he writes, says the PELE YOETZ, you have to know that included in the Torah is it's predicated, the Torah is predicated on Emunah, complete faith in the Rebbeinu Shalom. That's what every pasuk, every verse, and every word speaks about. More and more, deeper Emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And therefore, the more that we acquire, the more that we work on it, the more that we learn the Torah in the right way, that we could acquire the Emunah for ourselves, that is exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants, our yachas, our connection to Torah, to mitzvahs, and to Hashem, to be be'ezras Hashem. Have a wonderful day.